Welcome, grade 7 learners. Get ready, because today we are diving into a truly epic explainer. Think of this like exploring a magnificent, complex ecosystem. But, instead of jungles or deep oceans, we are exploring the vast landscape of human potential, your potential. We're going to break down absolutely everything you need to know about self-image, abilities, and diversity, so you can completely crush your upcoming exams. All right, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be conquering 13 essential questions across 4 core areas. 1. Introduction to self-image. 2. Interest, abilities, and potential. 3. Improving your self-image. And 4. Respecting diversity. Let's get started. Section 1. Introduction to self-image. Okay, to really understand this landscape, we have to start with the fundamental question. Question 1. What is the definition of a person's self-image? Imagine you're looking into an internal mirror. What exactly is reflecting back at you? Well, here's the crucial point. Self-image is the mental picture or the idea that you have of your own abilities, your appearance, and your personality. In the absolute simplest terms, it's your internal answer to the question, what do you think people think of you? It's literally the foundational reflection of who you are. Keep this core concept in your mind as we move forward. Now, let's take a look at the actual mechanics of this mental picture with a trio of interconnected questions. Question 2 asks what type of characteristics make up a self-image. Question 3 asks how it actually develops over time. And question 4 introduces a really fascinating twist. Why is it a massive misconception that smart or beautiful people automatically have a good self-image? Let's tackle questions 2 and 3 first. Your self-image is built on visible or provable traits. So if the exam asks for 3 examples, you can list things like height, weight, hair color, gender, or even an IQ score. But how does it grow? Well, it develops organically over time, and it's shaped entirely by your environment, the people you meet, the things you do, and, crucially, your daily successes and failures. Every single interaction leaves a footprint on your self-image. And that brings us to question 4, which is honestly a fascinating reality check into human psychology. You'd probably think that having it all, being incredibly smart and conventionally beautiful, would just guarantee a perfect self-image, right? But the human mind is wonderfully complex. A person can have all those advantages and still suffer from a terrible self-image. On the flip side, someone who faces severe challenges and adversity often builds an incredibly strong, resilient view of themselves. So it's not just about what you have, it's about how you process what you experience. Moving on to Section 2. Interests, abilities, and potential. We are all driven by what we love. So question 5 asks, what is meant by a personal interest? And question 6 bridges the gap between those raw passions and real-world success by asking which famous businessman is a perfect example of someone who turned his high school interest in computers into a massive global career. For question 5, a personal interest is simply the things you absolutely love doing or working with. Maybe it's helping the environment, working with animals, or helping out other people. And remember, this isn't static. Just like any living ecosystem, your interests can change, adapt, or even develop entirely new branches as you grow older. To answer question 6, look no further than Steve Jobs, the legendary creator of Apple. It's pretty awe-inspiring to realize that this global icon started with the exact same raw materials you have right now. He just had a simple, passionate high school interest in computers, and he nurtured that interest until it literally changed the world. But, of course, passions need abilities to actually become a reality. So, question 7 asks us, into which 2 parts can a person's abilities be divided? And question 8 asks us to name a famous South African who is an exceptional example of using physical abilities in sport. Let's break down question 7. Human abilities basically split into 2 distinct camps. On one side, we have intellectual abilities. This is the immense processing power of your mind, your thinking capacity, like the ability to listen deeply and solve complex problems. On the other side, we have physical abilities. This is what your physical body can actually execute out in the real world, like the speed, strength, and coordination required to play sports. And speaking of magnificent physical execution, the answer to question 8 is none other than Springbok captain Siya Kolisi. He is a massive national icon who perfectly anchors this concept of physical ability, showing us exactly what the human body can achieve at the absolute highest level of sport. Okay, so we've got our interests, our intellectual abilities, and our physical abilities. But what brings them all together? That leads us to question 9.
What does the word potential mean, and how can you broaden it?
The true definition of potential is how you can develop your body and mind by actively improving your abilities. It's basically the limitless boundary of your capacity. And the secret ingredient? Anyone, absolutely anyone, can broaden their potential through motivation and hard work. It doesn't just magically happen on its own. You have to actively cultivate it.
Section 3, improving your self-image. This is where things get really practical. Question 10 asks why it's so incredibly important to identify your own strengths. And question 11 asks you to name 5 actionable steps a person can take to actively improve their self-image. Definitely get ready to memorize this checklist.
Okay, answering question 10. It is vital to identify your strengths because knowing them gives you a massive advantage in building your confidence. Once you know what you're good at, you can really lean into it. Now for question 11, here are your 5 steps to improve that self-image. 1. Identify your strengths and use them. 2. Love yourself and stop demanding absolute perfection, because it just doesn't exist. 3. Be brave. Try new things and develop new abilities. 4. Set realistic, achievable goals so you can actually experience the joy of success. And 5. Shift your perspective. View your mistakes not as failures, but as vital learning opportunities. Practice these every single day. And finally, Section 4, respecting human diversity. Our final 2 exam questions tackle this outward ripple effect. Question 12, how do people with a positive self-image act towards others? And question 13, what is the exact difference between individuality and diversity? The answer to question 12 reveals a really beautiful truth about human nature. When someone has a positive self-image because they respect themselves, they naturally and effortlessly treat others with respect. They don't feel the need to put other people down. Instead, they honor the dignity, the privacy, and the freedom of everyone around them. Inner peace literally creates external kindness. And finally, question 13, let's cleanly contrast these 2 ideas. Individuality is the fact that every single person is entirely unique. Out of billions of people on Earth, there is a unique spark that makes you, you. Nobody else is exactly like you. Diversity, on the other hand, refers to the massive mosaic of humanity. It's the rich differences between groups of people, encompassing different cultures, varied appearances, and a whole wide array of traits. Well, you have the definitions, you have the mechanics of the mind, and you've got the steps to unlock your potential. You are fully prepared to conquer all 13 of these questions. But as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to take with you beyond the exam room. Looking at your own strengths and your own self-image, how will your unique individuality contribute to the incredible diversity of your ecosystem? Think about it. Good luck with those exams and keep exploring your potential.